John L. Sullivan was the first recognized heavyweight champion of the world. He was also the most popular fist fighter that ever lived. His fights were long, bloody grappling matches in which he would wrestle and smash his way, but he always won. Sullivan was the first in a line of heavyweight kings that were more admired than the president. But when Jim Jeffries beat Bob Fitzsimmons, who had beaten Gentleman Jim Corbett, who beat the great John L. Sullivan in 21 rounds, Jeffries became the mightiest of them all. Jeffries was the toughest Boilermaker in San Francisco, and he pounded his way through all opposition, becoming champion at 24. And 5 years later, he was still undefeated, having fought and refought the best, until there was no living man that could defeat Jeffries. He had never hit a man with his full force, afraid it would be fatal. But what he may have lacked in the killer instinct, he made up for in stamina, for he knew he could absorb any punishment a human being could deliver. No man had ever knocked him to the floor, and no man was ever going to. In 1905, he retired. At the time, there was a group of superb black heavyweights, like Sam Langford and Joe Jeanette, who were never given a chance at the title. But because Jeffries had retired, one of them hounded his way to a match with the champion's white successor. His name was Jack Johnson, and he was so superior that the famous author Jack London, who covered the fight, wrote, "The white man never landed a blow as the giant Ethiopian cuffed him like a naughty child." With a black champion of the world, the white public reeled, but they followed his every action. He lives riotously, the newspapers wrote, affects flashy clothes, drives yellow racing cars at high speed, and travels everywhere with white women. To the white public, Johnson became more despicable as his fame and wealth grew. But worst of all, the possibility of returning the heavyweight title to the white race grew increasingly dim. As Jeffries fished and grew fat in retirement, the desire to see Johnson defeated also grew. In 1909, Johnson, who could spend $1,000 a day, needed cash. So he arranged for a fight with the hotly aggressive and much admired white middleweight champion of the world, Stanley Ketchel. The place is Colma, California, and Johnson has secretly agreed to go easy on Ketchel, whom he dwarfs by 45 pounds. With one condition: Ketchel must not cause trouble, so the fight can go the full 15 rounds for the benefit of the motion picture cameras. The double cross cost Ketchel his front teeth, which were later found in Johnson's glove. But most important, the public could no longer wait to see the end of Johnson. Jim Jeffries provided the answer, as a giant killer who was himself a giant. "One thing now remains," Jack London wrote. "Jim Jeffries must emerge from his alfalfa farm and remove the golden smile from Jack Johnson's face."